Okay, we're live.
Okay. Do I start now?
Yeah, go for it.
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? How's everyone doing on this planet or wherever you are in the world? Hopefully, it's still great. This is your boy, the Animal, my partner in crime, Riveting Rivera, and welcome to the Mrs. Scope. Oh wait, shut up, Ad. Not now. How about that?
Perfect timing.
Love it. I love tech timing.
Very perfect timing. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Again, my partner again, Riveting Rivera.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mrs. Kobayashi Dragon Maid panel. And yeah, we're super excited to do this. So we got some lovely people here, and please introduce yourselves, guys. And yeah.
All right. I guess I'll start. Hi guys. My name is Jordan Dash Cruz. I'm a voice actor. I'm the voice of Takato or Take in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I've also done the voice of Sean and John in Shadow's House, Toma in Sing a Bit of Harmony, Suleiman in One Piece, Leo Skinaga in Ensemble Stars, Dusty Attenborough in Legend of Galactic Heroes, Dino Atesa. And then I've been in video games, Smite, Genshin Impact, different things like that. Super stoked to be here. It is great to see everybody. I'm really excited to answer you guys' questions and chat with the cast and crew because they are awesome people.
I'll go next. Hi, my name is Christy Rothrock, and in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, I am the voice of Ilulu, which is, oh my god, the most fun character to voice. But I'm also Rosie in Dragon Ball Super. So if you love or hate the Maidens of Love, either way is fine. Because I was actually warned before I got on the show by Raleigh. He was like, just letting you know, these characters aren't well received. And I'm like, I'm in Dragon Ball. Like, why does it matter?
That makes sense.
There we go.
Yeah. Like, I will voice a slug that just goes, and like, that's a joy to me. And so I loved getting to do Dragon Ball. I am Rinsen and Back Arrow. This season, I'm Tachan in The Vampire Dies in No Time, which is hilarious. And also, I guess the most recent ones I've done is Rose and Combata Till We Dispatch, the little hungry chimera. And then I'm, Smite, video games, stuff like that. Persephone skin and also a Discordia skin. So if you've been annoyed by Discordia April showers, you have me to thank.
Hi, I'm Sarah Ragsdale. I play Riko Saikawa in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and I got some other stuff going on. You can read about it later.
Go to my Anime News Network.
Yeah, no, Anime News Network is like more valid than my own resume. They are on
For
top
real.
of it.
Yeah.
It is so crazy. They're just like phenomenal.
Yeah. It's like you announce a role and like 5 minutes later, it's already on there.
It's incredible, and I'm just like,
Sometimes
gosh,
I have to be like, was
so
I
beautiful.
in that? Let me go check.
Yes, no, I'm the same way. Well, because with the way Funimation lobbies work, anyone who's ever spent any time in the Funimation lobby, it's like, hey, can you do a boy voice? Cool, come back. And they don't even tell you what show it is, and then you're just like, I had a line.
Yeah.
And then I look at my Anime News Network, and I'm like,
I used to love.
14A.
Man.
Okay.
Back in the day, they used to send you your timesheet in the mail when they sent out checks. I was like, oh, that's what I worked on.
I remember one time.
I wouldn't know till I got my timesheet in the mail.
I remember one time I was on a panel with Rico, and somebody had asked him a question about being in a certain show, and he answered beautifully. He gave him a wonderful answer, and of course, Rico being Rico, it was just like top-notch answer. Like you couldn't tell anything was different. But after he answered, he leaned over to me and he goes, I wasn't in that show. And he was like, I don't think I was even in that show. I just played it off. And I'm just like, dude, you did a masterful job. Like, I would have never guessed you were not in that show. And so, like, we don't even know some of the shows we're in sometimes.
That's funny.
It's like pure Rico energy.
Oh, yeah. Pure Rico energy. Rico is fantastic.
Hello, everyone. How you doing today?
Yeah.
What's
my
good?
name is Marcus Stimick, director, assistant director, additional voices, regular voices, whatever you need.
He does it all, people. Woo!
So you're the one I've heard so much. I get a face to it now.
I'm happy to have had the chance to work with all these people. Do a lot of stage work, other stuff as well.
Oh, sweet.
Make some
voice
crab
acting on it.
rangoons.
I've made crab rangoons before.
That's right. And they're delicious.
And, they were so delicious. I miss those times where we could just get together and make crab rangoons like the old days.
The olden days of crab rangoon parties.
It's like that quote in The Office where Andy Bernard says, "I wish someone told you these were the good old days before you left them."
Yeah.
Real talk though, like, because at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like I revisited a snap that I had made in December, and I was like, "'Tis the season to cancel plans because it's cold." And then like 2020 happened, and I'm like, "'Tis the season to just do anything except for be in the house."
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know what I had.
The irony.
It was so sad. I was like, why have I done this to myself? But yeah, I'm very glad because luckily I have a bunch of friends who, or a handful of friends who are all like vaccinated and super safe, and they work from home. And so fortunately I've gotten to a point where I can, like, at the very least back in Oklahoma, I have this like little
Your pod.
group of friends. I know they're safe. And they know that I'm safe too. And so it's like, okay.
That was funny. We also got our co-host.
I love this
Hello.
co-host. Last but never least.
Yes, exactly. I am Zamber. I am Zamber. I like to think of myself as a animation connoisseur, so I'm here helping out.
Sweet.
Yay.
We are so happy to have you.
I like
Xander.
your
Thank
setup,
you
by
so
the way.
much.
Your whole like background is
Thanks.
wonderful.
It's a
Do you
bit.
like
That's
Oshawa?
Could
Have
you
ever heard of
tell?
Oshawa?
Background is like a haunted
I might
window,
be a
but I'm
little
not.
bit excited for this weekend.
Oh yes, I am too.
My son comes home. My baba.
The
That's
baby.
great.
Oh,
So, yeah,
one
go ahead.
thing that I wanted to mention, Jordan, when you were introducing yourself, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I really meant it the other day on Twitter. Hearing you scream every time Ilulu fucks with you, the funniest thing, it's the shrillest, like, most terrified scream ever. And the first time I heard it, and blood just sprays everywhere, I laughed so hard.
Thank
I
you.
laughed unbelievably hard. And then he does it over and over again. I was like,
Mhm.
God, he's so good at selling it every time. And like, where he's like covering his mouth and there's just blood leaking down
It
his
is,
face.
yeah. Thank you
It
so
was
much.
so good. Oh my God. It made me die laughing every time I heard it. I like watched that scene back and I was like, oh my God, it was freaking out. It was wonderful. It was
Thank
so
you,
good.
thank you. It
I'll
was
say,
it was really funny.
it's a great
Oh, it was a
compliment to
blast.
Jordan's ability as an actor to be able to draw from that real life experience he has. Which is
Well,
part
Real
of
life
the
experience.
Yeah,
reason
just
she's perfect for the
constant,
role.
just
Like reverse jetpack, feet off the floor action.
just woo. Oh man, no, those yells were fun. I knew they were coming, and I wanted to make sure like I went all out with them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the only way you have to
I was
go
just
with
take
yells
no
and screams.
prisoners when it came to it. Just let's go all in, 100
Oh,
miles an
man.
hour.
you did great
Yeah.
with that, I will say.
Yeah, I think I definitely
Thank
love
you.
their interactions. Their
yeah.
interactions together were hilarious on the show.
And
Absolutely.
Lulu is so clueless sometimes because she's just like, poor Take. And he's just like right here. And she's like,
Yeah. So poor.
and then she's like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Yep.
It's so funny how clueless she can be, but then she plays right into it because she's pure chaos. She's like, oh, this is a chance to cause trouble. Okay.
Like I was wondering because the whole breast thing with Lulu, I was like when I first saw Lulu, I was like, okay, this is game for real, and then it regressed to someone serious, to someone like kind of cute and funny, and I was just like, cause then when she doesn't attack her breast glows, and I'm just like, what's going on here? And then she actually said, oh, these are fire sacks. These are my source of power. I'm like, well, that explains everything.
Right.
Okay.
And
Here
she
they
doesn't
are.
like, you can tell she doesn't sexualize them because she even asks the little girl, she's like, well, do you want to hold them? because like
Yeah.
he asked if they're heavy, and she's like, well, do you want to feel? And like she does not consider them a sexual thing until she's reminded by Taketo's nose firing blood at her. So
Him slipping right onto him
Good
and
hands.
just
Yeah, just
Yeah.
casually.
what a
Oh,
safe,
yeah.
soft place to land, though. Am I right? I mean,
That was
if I
good.
fall at the skate park, I would be perfectly fine falling there instead of concrete. So you know.
Hopefully to
Oh, that was great.
find the nearest bustiest person to fall on. Hopefully, there's one all over the place. There's one all over the place.
Well, it's a
There has to
skate
be
park,
one.
so it's a bunch of dude bros, and like, which I don't mind. They're all very nice, but they're not squishy. And also, I'm not on the right terms with them to be able to squish into them like that. So yeah, that's a refrain fairly. I'm not a fan of assaulting people, so there's that too.
You just got to find the
Good.
softest
I'm
landing.
pro not
Yeah.
assaulting people.
Yeah, it's a hobby of mine to not assault people. I'm really good at it.
More people need to get in that hobby, I think.
Right? I know. Like I've been practicing for about 34 years, so yeah. Practice makes perfect.
Oh God, you're right. You're right. Oh, we got some questions from the fans from over on
Great.
Twitter. We got here. Let's see. So the first question we have ourselves here is, what has been your favorite scene or episode to record for the show, and why?
Man, there's so many good ones.
Well, I mean, for me, it's probably gotta be the first time Rico sees Kana and the first like big just like scream for Kana. Like just letting loose on that and like setting that precedent for the show was just probably one of my favorites. It like sets the whole tone of her character and just the adorable little spaz that she is.
Yeah.
Man, for me, I have to say, like, it would probably be like when Take's first introduced to Lulu. Just because it's just that natural, like, oh hey, like, oh, it's a girl and she's kind of cute, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, she's trying to kind of show me her boobs. That's like not okay. Like I'm freaking out because I'm 16.
Yeah.
And then just not only that, but then just like seeing their interaction afterward, where they're both just kind of, talking and not being goofy.
Sorry, hold on. I don't know if I did.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
You're fine. You're fine.
But
okay, yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, just like seeing their interaction with that, because then you realize like, oh, like there's more to it than just the comedy. Like there's actual like friendship or
yeah,
even romance in
they
this.
start growing on each other, and that's like really sweet. That like interaction of where he's just like, well, hey, I've got a top. Do you want to play with it? And she's like, I get to be a kid?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really love that.
That was wholesome.
Yeah, I honestly, I feel the same way. There are two things that I really, really loved recording in as a Lulu, which was the tender moments, which one of my favorite scenes, and I think it's just so beautiful. And I feel like this is such a like, I don't know, it shows Take's respect that he's gained for Ilulu, which is like she's trying to look for the doll, and he just like comes up with an umbrella and he's like, it was gonna rain. And I'm just like, babies, like they're so sweet.
Yes.
And it was just the purest thing. But my favorite, 1000% favorite, just because I am also a disgusting gremlin, two things. One
Oh God,
was
I
the
think I
fight
know.
scene between me. Oh, you know. One of them was the fight scene between me and Sarah Wiedenheft's character, because since Ilulu's loving it, she's smiling the entire time. So I got to do all these cool fight reacts. And so there's just like a scuffle part where we were all just like it was just a bunch of like, yeah, and then but Lulu's loving it, and so I got to add in these just like laughs into it because she's having a great time kicking her butt, and so she's like doing all these and then every now and then be like and like she would just like going crazy over it. But then my other one, my favorite line in the entire show is, it's a ball of tiny hands, look. And it was
Oh, that was gross. That was gross.
And then
That was
Sarah
unexpected.
Wiedenheft says, ew.
Yeah, that was like, ugh.
But that's so me. Is I get to be like that's so Junji Ito, and I love like body horror stuff and just like a ball of tiny hands. And she's like
Yeah.
using them to like turn pages. It's disgusting, and I love it. I could gush about gross stuff all day like that.
Oh man.
Well, I would say there's so many great parts. Had a chance to record so many wonderful performances from all of the cast. There's a lot of additional voices I recorded that were pretty hilarious. I was amongst my favorite additional voices I recorded on this one was we were gangsters who kidnapped Kana's friend in New York City.
Oh
She
god.
was an 8-year-old
Oh,
girl.
yeah.
And we were like, got her in some storeroom and we're like strong arming her and all this stuff. And we're like, give us the money, kid. Come on. Do you want to die down here? Like all of
I was like,
that.
wow.
And,
Sorry if you're
laughing
hearing
our
noise.
butt
I think somebody just started a lawnmower or a motorcycle. I can't tell. So if there's grumbling, you can feel free to mute me.
Yeah. And, but, you know, all the stuff in the last episode, 12, 11, and 12, that was like pretty much my favorite part. Saikawa and Kana at the festival, and they're playing a goldfish game. And Kana says to Saikawa, "Oh, I hope you live a long time." And Saikawa goes, "What?" And then she's like, we'll be BFFs forever, right? That's so cool. It's just like the
Saikawa is at a
best
10
moment,
all the
very
time, and it makes
touching,
me so happy.
intense,
Yeah.
great mismatch of energy there. You know?
I take that back. Saikawa was always at an 11.
Yeah, that's much
Yeah,
better.
definitely.
11.
Yeah,
they
all
go
the screams and everything are so good.
they go fishing with Saikawa, and she's like, "Let's go fishing." They fish for 1 second. She's like, "I'm bored."
I'm done.
And, and then the lady's like, "Oh, I think you need to be a little more patient." But yeah, just a lot of good moments. And you know, just working with all the different people was probably my favorite part.
I know we got to work together
Yeah.
in that festival scene, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Where Take's just like,
Yeah,
let me just little
That
cork
scene
gun.
was adorable though, with Ilulu
I
and
love
them
it.
just kind of talking
Yeah.
back and forth about maybe I should
Yeah.
trick you too.
Yeah.
So precious.
And also, Take like showing her like you still have the option to do kid things. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to grow up and be a super serious person. Like you can just be yourself and play games and have fun. And like I think that was a really big like shift for Ilulu, was not just the fact that, oh hey, humans actually do have the capacity to care for me and they aren't all evil, but on top of that, making such a close friend and being told by this close friend like, hey, you don't have to stop being a child, you can still do all these things. And that her embracing that and finally understanding that she can actually be who she wants to be without without anyone being like, you need to do away with humans, be an adult dragon, act more mature. She wants to be around children, she loves children, and she loves childish things because she's kind of a child herself. And so like her finally like getting her head wrapped around that, like I'm still allowed to be a kid, it was a really beautiful moment. And I think the festival scene really locked that in place because she's just like so relaxed in that scene. It makes me really happy to see her so relaxed because she's finally not conflicted with herself anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite episodes for me was probably episode 9 of season 2. It was like we got more in depth with Elma and Toru, like of their history together.
Oh, there's a lot
I like that
happening.
one.
Yeah. And then like their fight scene together was even so good. It was so smooth. Like, I love the emotions they were giving each other too. Like it was a really good episode. I really enjoyed that one the most, to be honest.
Very cool.
I was actually just gonna say the same thing, but I think another episode that kind of stuck out to me was the whole relationship with her father, the Doom of Desire, and Toru. How he said, "I don't want to leave," and like just like first off, that voice acting was just absolutely amazing because it just went from something super silly and super erotic or whatever word you want to use for it to something like I was actually shocked because when she actually shot her, almost shot her in the face, I was like, did he legit just kill? Like, it just took a 180 right away. But I think they did it in such a way that like they did a well job. They did it so seriously and just the passion, but like, I'm not leaving. And then for Kobayashi to kind of just stand up, and be like, no, she's my maid. That really just set the tone for me. I was like, you know what? I'm really loving this now. I love the fact that we kind of like step back a little bit from the silliness and be like, okay, this is real. She actually does legit care about her. So that episode really stuck out to me. And I have to say, these fight scenes in this show are some of the best I've ever seen. Like the one Ruben was just talking about. That was a lot of fun. Like I have to say, I wish there were more of these fight scenes in this show. I would love to see so much more because they're really well done. They're just such a joy to watch. And obviously the character relationships here were just absolutely amazing. I think you all did a fantastic job bringing that to life. I have to say, first and foremost. But
yeah, I would say whenever the fight scenes do happen, they happen so unexpectedly most of the time.
Yeah,
it's like you're not ready for it to happen. It just happens out of nowhere.
Yes, episode
especially that second episode
slaps you in the face with an insane fight scene, like instantly.
Especially that second episode.
Yeah,
this like dragon from nowhere like floats down, and she's like, "Hi," like so creepy, and I'm just like, and like you're just like, what is this? And then there's like this insane fight scene. And one of my favorite parts about that fight scene is there's like a GIF of it somewhere on the internet where Sarah Wiedenhep's character, she like has like those big brown shoes on, and she just kicks Ilulu right in the jaw. And Ilulu is just smiling still because she's like, yes, pain, fight, let's do this. And so like she's still really into it. And so like she's having a great time. She's like, oh yeah, this is the fight I came here for. So she came expecting to get hurt. And so getting kicked in the face is like, yeah, fuel me. And it was such a blast.
It's pretty random.
Played her like a fiddle and was like, fight me.
You'll be working with someone and you have cues highlighted on the screen at like 3 or 5 at a time, just, so you don't have to move it around too much. And there'll be 2 people sitting there like, oh, what a nice bento box. Can I have some of your spare ribs? Next cue is like, open mouth attack blasted. And you're like did I skip something? I'm like,
wait, what?
I'm like, all right, play that again.
This escalated quickly.
And like the actors are like, I'm like, yes, you've been blasted. I'm like, let's just watch because it'll just be like, well, and sometimes people are a girl for like 2 or 3 episodes, and then it's like revealed. I'm like, by the way, you're a 600-year-old dragon. And, you're about to turn into a giant dragon, and these aren't like little Pokemon dragons. They're like as big as a building. And though you can't see them, I'm invisible. Story magic.
Yeah, so inconspicuous, flying through the sky with the Kobayashi on the back, not invisible, like.
Yeah,
that's so good.
What dragons?
In the rain.
No dragons here.
But don't mind me.
Yeah. What I gotta say was that it was that very first episode where I thought Toru was turning into a dragon. I'm like, she's gonna destroy this house, and then she ends up like blasting the clouds all away, and I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay, now I'm into this. And
thank you, morning show radio host.
Yes. So for me, I think the beauty of Dragon Maid is that we can have that versatility where, at one point our characters can just be fighting and then suddenly they are having this emotional connection that has been centuries waiting for that. But then we can also have those moments where Saikawa is, gushing about Kana, and then suddenly we have this very emotional moment in a bathroom with Ilulu. And it's just so wild to see these characters grow throughout the seasons and how they all have started to come together and kind of understand what humanity is really about. So I'd have to say the entire show, but I really did love the last episode at the festival and then the wedding.
Oh,
yeah, the cherry blossom wedding.
That was a beautiful
Ilulu,
which is skin, by the way. Actual flesh, not flowers.
Flowers.
No, there were a lot of really cool scenes in that show, and I like even stuff that like I love watching like Miss Kobayashi and Toru interact because it's just like so genuine and sweet. Like it's just very heartwarming. And I love how persistent and genuinely loving Toru is of Miss Kobayashi. Like she has a tendency to get jealous, of course, but like she like obviously genuinely cares for her from like the bottom of her heart, and that shows through every performance that Sarah Wiedenheft does of her. And it's just like, and you know, like like the interaction between them is just so gorgeous, and I love watching that even.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say, Sarah, did
I'm
you
sorry to
answer the
interrupt.
question
Sorry,
already?
one last thing.
No, go ahead, Ivan.
No, I was going to say, did Sarah, if she answered the question?
Yeah, mine was the first time we see, like in season 1 when Saikawa like first meets Kana and just like
okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I want to make sure no one got
I'm not gonna lie, Saikawa, Lulu thinking Saikawa is nuts in the bathroom made me laugh so hard.
That was funny.
Even a Lulu who just tried to destroy an entire city is like, this girl's scaring me.
She's a scary little kid, man.
I love her.
I want to add one more. When Saikawa leads the ghost hunters to catch this like little fairy in a diaper up in the school's attic.
Oh my god, the weird fairy in the diaper.
That came out of nowhere.
And I was like, okay, wow, cool. And then I was like, who are we getting to come in here to do this? I look at the sheet and it says Sunny Straight.
Of course.
That was Sunny.
I'm like, Sunny Straight. I'm like, he's like famous, dude. He's in like a ton of shit. Like, why are we doing this?
Sunny rules. What a perfect
casting
for that.
Like,
oh my god, I love that.
I was
amazing.
like,
I'll have to watch that episode again.
That's amazing.
He logs in to do the thing, and I'm like, how are you, man? We're big fans. Got great work for you today. And I pull it up, and it's like this little, whoa, yeah, like little fairy.
Here's the thing about Sunny, though, is that no matter what role you give him, he gives 110%.
Oh, yeah.
Like he is so like on top of it, guy. He is so phenomenal to work with too.
He was excellent, and
yeah, Sunny will never disappoint.
It was a lot of fun doing that part, and it was pretty hilarious as well.
I bet.
I would love to see more of that. I
Such
would love
a
to see
random
more of that.
fairy.
I was just about to say, it was so random. Like, that's it. It was just there for like less than 5 minutes, and then it was kind of like, that's it. Like, I want to see more of this guy. Is there going to be more?
Right?
It was
Hey,
absolutely
let's
random.
do season 3. I vote for season 3, and let's get this guy back.
Yes.
I want him more.
You can't just show someone interesting like that randomly and then just like disregard him. No,
Yeah.
if he's that, if it's Sunny of all people, he has more. That's just me.
But here's the
But
thing:
yeah.
it's anime, so you can do that because it's anime,
Right?
and that's just what they do. Is they're just like, look, there's
you're
one
right, you're
character that you are really enamored by, and then just like, see ya, they're gone. And
Yeah,
like in
no,
anime,
you're
they're just
right.
like, wait, hold on, what just happened?
I want to
Like,
draw that again.
what was
Like,
this? I need
You're
more
right.
of this. What's going on?
All right, let's see. Ivan, you want to go read the next question?
Next question is, if you-
would you choose?
She's doing it. Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
You're
fine.
good.
You're fine.
You read the question. I was just reading because I don't have my glasses on, and so I'm like sorry, and then I read it aloud. So
You're totally
go
fine.
for it.
You're
I'm not
totally
the
fine.
host. I apologize.
You're totally fine.
I just need to like
Totally
do it
fine.
closer, but then I'm just like, hey guys, what's up?
You're totally fine. Okay, so if you could switch roles with any other character or cast member from the series, who would it be, and why would you choose them, Rachel? Oh, I got a headache.
For me, so I haven't seen like all the show yet, but
Wow.
I feel. I'm sorry.
What a great time to say that right now.
But I do think that the gosh, what's his name? It's the one character that like he's got the otaku like glasses that are like really spirally, and like he's kind of like
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. I don't know, for whatever reason, like that just I feel like that's kind of my energy sometimes.
Like
So
when he's not like when he's not serious and when he's like kind of geeking out in the game or
Yeah.
whatever. That or okay.
Yeah, so I feel like it'd be fun. Plus, like, I mean, he's just like that character design. I think is absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah, he's so funny looking.
Oh my God, Marcus is wow, got me.
I don't even know his name is Takia. Maybe one of these guys are. Hey, you guys remember that guy?
It was just so unexpected because we were focused on Jordan, and then all out of nowhere,
he's like-
wow.
Whoever played the Nintendo Switch at the picnic, I felt that.
That's me, man.
Big mood.
That's mine and Marcus's relationship, by the way.
I love it.
I would play Fafnir, but I wouldn't mind playing Toru or one of the ladies.
I would love to see you do that,
I'll
Marcus.
play.
I would dig it. Yeah, I'd
I'll
watch
play
that in a
anything.
heartbeat.
The range can do it all.
Fafnir for sure is in my wheelhouse. Like, I do those low dudes. Like, you know, the world is at war with 1,400 pounds of payload for the best fifth wheel towing in its class. I feel like there's a lot of that in the old. But yeah, I think Toru is the most fun, most big, high highs, low lows, but also like it's crazy because in her flashbacks, she is like a lot of wisdom, and then her present stuff, she'll swing from like really sage-like advice to like bizarrely naive and clumsy and devious, and it's so I think there's a lot of fun challenges there, especially because you know we don't get these scripts in advance, and it's a lot to just like come into a session throughout your day and like really have that elasticity, you know. So I think those would be fun, and my compliments to everyone who tackled those challenges so beautifully.
I think if given the opportunity, I would probably want to attempt Kana just because the level of adorableness. I want to attempt it. I don't know if I could do it any justice that like Jade does it, but I would just like, how are you that cute all the Jade time? Like,
you're absolutely right.
You just did it.
I'm actually the same. If I could voice any other character other than Lulu, it would be Kana. But I know for a fact that I would never be able to sell it as well as Jade does because Kana is just so cute, unbelievably cute. But she has a little bit of sass peppered in there.
Yeah.
But it's still said in that like adorable. It's like
it's like a little,
I'm just like
a nonchalant spazziness. Like, well Rico's just like full spaz. Like, like how do you just like an effortless spazziness to it? I was like, I don't know how you did that.
Beautiful.
I'm impressed.
I love it so much. So that's the thing is like I would love to try that. I'm with you, but I don't know that I could ever actually like do that because again, Jade has got it on lockdown. Like I can't hear anybody else whenever I think of Kana.
Oh, let's go catch some eels.
I love
Oh God.
We got a voice match.
Yeah.
Although I will say one thing was you were talking about range earlier was there were some sessions where I would have to go from a Lulu, which is like, oh no, the dog will get wet, you know, and then I had to go directly to Rinsen from Back Arrow, who's like, what? Like just like, and so I had to be like up here and pure and innocent all the way to like, I'm gonna slit your throat and scream in your ear while I'm doing it. And it was like, 15 minutes between sessions for a water break. And I'm like, okay, shift gears over here because we're about to go way insane. I'm about to stab somebody. Whereas I just got done having this really sweet moment under an umbrella with Pake. And then all of a sudden Rinsen's like being drowned, and she's like, I refuse to die. And like, she's like tied up and drowning in a river, and she like, no jokes, refuses to die so much that she like bites onto a twig in the river, and she's like, no. And like, I had to go from Ilulu to that, and it was such a gear shift. It was so fun though.
So good.
Yeah.
If you could play a character from the series, who would it be, Zamber?
Oh boy.
Oh.
That is a lovely question. I think I kind of would have to go for Saikawa because I think she's probably the most similar to me, because I think I speak for everyone that anytime she's on screen, your heart just melts. And so I think it'd just be a role that would be so effortless, because I would love to get paid to just gawk at Kana all day.
Oh, and it's like the purest obsession. Like, it's so pure love. It's so sweet. And like, you can tell that it's just like, it's purely from the heart. Like, and I just love that so much. Like, Saikawa's obsession with Kana is just like, she just loves her so much and is so fascinated by her. And you can tell it's pure, genuine, like, not trying to be like a weirdo or anything. She's just so happy that Kana exists.
Oh yeah, just
Like
completely
the
enamored
level
by
of
her.
obsession, it does go into the weirdo category. I'm like, gosh, she's such a little weirdo because she's so obsessed.
That's
My
what
favorite
I initially
gif
thought
of-
at first. No lie.
My favorite
she
dish
grew
is
on
where-
her,
It's
I'm
not
sorry,
good.
It's not good.
like if this were like in a real school setting, they would have taken her into the counselor by now and set her down with her parents. Like, so we need to talk about Saikawa.
But then again, her sister
my
is a
favorite-
maid too, so
It's true.
Yeah.
I love Georgie.
I think
My favorite gif of Saikawa is her rubbing both a Lulu and Kana's tummies and just freaking out. Yeah, she's like, like getting to rub two tummies at once. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite ones.
One thing that truly shocked me when she was on top of her, and Sakuya was like, "What is she gonna do to me?" And then Kyle was like, "Dragon style." And it took me. I was like, "Dragon style." I thought she was doing a spell at first because he's like dragon. Okay, I was kind of thinking of like Naruto, like ninja art. I was like, but then a second later, I was like, "Oh, dragons!" I was like, "Oh my god." I realized what she's talking about at that point. I was just like, "Oh my god, did we really just go there?" Like,
They cross the line every now and then, but it's
really
innocent
does.
because they're babies. You know?
I know.
They're figuring things out.
I've made a lot of different faces watching Dragon Maid. And there's
I'm with you there.
some that are like, so we have a scene where Fafnir's like, we're gonna go to the anime con and we're gonna sell these nudie magazines, hand-drawn manga or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when they read them, they're voiced over and like acted out. And like Lukawa's character, and they're like drawn based on people's like, I'm gonna lick you every inch of your body. And this little boy is like tied up and he's like, no, please don't lick all over my body. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, all right. I was like, does that fit? All right, it's done. Let's keep moving.
let's just move on.
When I was debating
Let's
if I'm
not
watching a
focus
hentai
too
or
long
something.
on it.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah, that
it's
was funny.
hilarious commentary on the rampant merchandising on like highly sexualized anime culture, you know. But it was still, it's like,
I mean,
not good.
speaking of highly
Oh my
sexualized,
God.
especially in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, the part where Lulu was like, come on, and then just right in the boob. I was like, I felt that. Like, that hurts me. Like, it was such a solid smack, and she has like a red mark, and I'm like, oh, no one do that to me ever, please. Oh my god. And the line, get out of my face. Like, it's so good.
Oh, jeez. I was gonna say before,
I will-
my mind. Sarah, how many times did you say did you have to do retakes of the scream of like?
Oh, well, every now and then, like for each one, it's like a new version of the scream, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I can usually get it in like 1 to 2 takes. Every now and then, it's just like my voice will just be like.
Sometimes you open your mouth.
Yeah.
Every voice actor can attest to this. Sometimes you open your mouth and you have no idea what just came out, but it wasn't what you wanted.
Yeah, like I was like Marcus knows because I think it happened in one of our last sessions. I was like, I got this, and then my voice just went, no, you don't,
Yeah.
bitch. Like,
the more you yell, the
Yeah.
more you realize like how much technique you actually need to like yell.
mhm.
Because
Oh,
there's been times
yeah.
where it's just like, oh, this is just a yell, and you try to do it, and just like Sarah said, it's like,
Nope.
Yeah.
why can't
Well,
it's not coming
Yeah,
out?
or if it's like an extended yell and you've got the first part of it, but then your voice just turns into a flute. And it's like, I'm like, what? It just feels like air passing through your throat, and it's just like the scream cuts, and then your voice is like.
Oh,
So, like, sometimes you just top out, and you're like, "Whoops, didn't mean to do that. I need to not go so hard next time." But yeah, like sometimes it just happens.
Psychoa has screams that don't have one color throughout. So they'll have a crazy graphic overlay of her face stretched out, big hearts in her eyeballs, other stuff, and it'll be a big
Hard on the
screen, and then
tongue.
they swoon after. Like it's always a oh,
Ooh.
like things like this. So even if you scream your butt off, then at the end it's like, oh, that was so great, but the like, whoo, doesn't fit, and you're like, oh,
And then you have to, yeah.
And
Oh my
you're
gosh,
like-
yeah.
I just press mute, and I'd look over. I'm like, do we have to get this again?
Oh.
Is there anything you can do?
Make
Yeah.
it work.
You hurt the throat after a while.
Move it
And I
around.
just- Man, speaking of which, I just want to shout out real quick, man. Engineers make the dream work for real,
yeah.
though.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Shout
Magicians,
out to
all of
every
them.
engineer that I've ever worked with, and directors too. I mean, seriously, like engineers are like so crucial to the entire process. And I'm like, please, somebody like make an awards thing entirely just for engineers, please,
Yes.
because they need it. Like every
100%.
engineer deserves it.
Shout out to Paul Klein.
Paul.
Great.
And
Wendy from Gravity Falls Avatar.
I just got Paul Gravity Falls Christmas gift here that I've yet to deliver to him.
That's
And, like,
adorable.
I
Yeah,
got
he's
him a
great. He's so fun to work
bunch
with.
of candies and shit too, but I've already eaten them because it's been so long.
You
since
ate his
I-
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna meet up for Christmas, and then it's been longer and longer, and I'm like, well, these Butterfingers ain't gonna eat themselves.
Someone's gotta eat it.
And,
We're
la-
actually. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
and last night, Paul texted me and he's like, "Can you come play Stardew Valley?" And I was like, "Yeah." We went to his island, Stardew Valley. Has no chickens, no cows, no goats, no nothing, man. He's like, "I'm not making any money." I'm like, "You don't even have any chickens, man. Like, we gotta get this thing going in here, big time." You know?
Can't make money if you don't have any chickens.
You can't make mayonnaise without
Love it.
chickens.
Yeah.
True.
Okay.
That's reality.
That's just the reality of it all.
Can I put that on my tombstone? You can't make mayonnaise without chickens. Like,
Oh yes,
Ooh.
but you do have
I'm
to
all for
credit
putting
Marcus.
oh yeah, for sure, Marcus. No days on who it is or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Zamber, would you like to read the next question?
Yes. If you could have any of the abilities that the dragon has in real life, which would you choose and why?
Fire tits.
I knew that was coming. I
No,
was like, "Yep,
that's fair.
fire stacks." Be
No
politically
question
correct,
about it.
fire
No
stacks.
thought needed. Fire tits.
Oh man.
Maybe fire breathing, because then I could get like some customer service shit done, you know? Like,
Hey,
Ooh.
yeah.
Wow.
Like, what would
I'll
the
be
name
a
for
dragon Karen, you know?
Yeah.
Dragon Karen. Oh my god. That's
I
The
want to speak
ultimate
to your
form.
manager, dragon.
I think it would be the power of friends made along the way.
Oh!
That's a good one.
My heart
No,
through three sizes.
fuck that though. Fuck that.
He's like-
Fafnir's pile of gold. There, we can start there. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good place to start. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
yeah.
Having a job where you basically do nothing and get paid quite a bit and you live hundreds of years so you don't care about a gosh darn thing is great power. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going to work if I lived 700 years. I'd be like, I can spare 8 hours, I suppose.
It's
Well,
a
there's
hobby.
actually a line where Toru is telling Ilulu to get a job, and Ilulu's like, "I'm thinking about it. Give me like 600 more years." And then she's like, "You're not on Dragon Time anymore."
You need a job now. I remember that. Lulu's like sleeping on the floor and she's like,
Yeah, like a cat.
trying to wake her up and stuff. And she gets her a job at that store with that old lady. And they sell
at the Obero shop.
confectionaries. Yeah.
I think I kind of like the
There-
idea
I
of being able to create your own clothes out of like, your
I
own
was just
skin.
gonna say that.
Yeah, you never have to go shopping for clothes ever again. You know, you can wear whatever
Yeah.
you want.
It's
Just manifest
boom.
whatever you want to look like.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
mean, I mean, half the time,
Damn.
dragon attire is even better than what normal people wear anyway. So I would just my
Mm.
dragon attire, I would just keep that all day. I
Yeah.
would say though, Elma's is probably my favorite one though. I think her outfit is lovely. But
And
yeah,
I like the uniqueness of Elma too, because she has like almost like the mermaid looking tail.
Yes.
Mhm.
I love that one.
Mhm.
Like
I
her
love that
horn is
one.
super unique.
Mhm.
And so she's
Yeah.
just her whole design is a really unique character. And also she's extraordinarily cute because
Yeah.
she's always like
Yes.
eating, and she's always like like the end episode where she like draws the face on her tummy is so precious.
It's
She's just
adorable.
Actually, I take it
Yeah.
back. I don't want to breathe fire. I just want to be able to eat nonstop. That's what I want. I changed
Yeah,
my
and
answer.
all go here. Like that's the only place it goes is to the chest, because that seems to be the case with her.
Yes.
It's just eat all you want, and then it just fills these. That's what you need. Yeah.
I like the way you all think.
Very. I guess everyone already took the cool powers. I guess Elma's clairvoyance. I mean, just to be able to find anything I want. I mean, I guess that'd be it too. It's just her clairvoyance. If I can say just about Elma, like about the whole mermaid and that she's a sea dragon thing, like because my favorite Greek god is Poseidon with the trident and everything. So when I saw her character and I saw that's kind of what she's about, yeah, that's why Elma is really my favorite character. Not only I think she's one of the cutest. And I just love her whole concept of she has a trident, she's a sea dragon. I just think that's awesome. And her clairvoyance is dope too. And she was able to shoot like energy bubbles or whatever. I was like, okay, that's who I want her powers. I think Elma's just great.
Entirely fair.
I love Elma.
But
Yeah.
if you were a sea dragon, that would imply the existence of other sea creatures of unusually large size. So, like,
Uh-huh.
that could be great until you're like swimming in a lake and then you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is that?
Oh gosh.
Like,
Okay, so I heard a quote. Speaking of which, regardless of what anyone's faith is, this made me laugh so hard, which is the ocean was God's deviant art. Like, because there's just so much messed up stuff in the ocean.
I literally said the other day to someone, was like,
Oh.
the ocean is filled with monsters, like legitimately. Like, I was like, I'm
It's
afraid of the ocean. It's
terrifying.
like,
I
you
will
should
never
be.
be in
It's
the
filled with
ocean.
monsters.
Yeah, monsters that we haven't even discovered yet.
Mhm.
and it's all muddy at the bottom. What's going on with that?
What's up with that?
That's not
Disgusting.
fun.
That's great.
Why?
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Flying ability would be great. You wouldn't have to
Yeah,
worry
no,
about
that's
it then.
true.
Just planes.
Right?
Oh yeah, just fast travel.
You know.
Planes, birds,
Yeah.
you name it.
Yourself to
Normal
like
drones.
that whole perception block. Yeah.
Drones.
Kana flies Chloe in New York City
Yeah.
airspace like 700 miles in the sky. That little girl would freeze to death.
Death,
She's like
yes.
in her little 90, like holding on, flying in the northeast coast. I'm like, you would freeze to death.
If she
I thought
doesn't
that was a
pass
beautiful-
out from
yeah.
lack of oxygen first.
True.
Right,
She
right.
didn't even buy a hot dog. So, you know, like she's going to be hungry and cold and shivering.
Shit,
He's
that
like
poor little girl.
10,000 feet in the sky. That's the low oxygen level right there. So like, yeah, it was a beautiful scene, but you should survive, honey. You should.
Yeah.
Right, you arrive with
You
a
should be
frozen
dead
corpse.
right now.
Yeah, like.
Oh man.
Oh god, I love this. so
Okay.
much.
Let's see. What has been your most positive experience with the show and the fandom?
Everything.
Yeah.
It's a pretty solid
the
answer.
The fans on like Twitter and everything are just so supportive and so kind. I mean, I think I'm pretty lucky if there's someone who wasn't supportive and kind. I somehow missed it. So
No, there weren't.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that like I was really appreciative of, especially, is not only the intense feedback that I got from voicing a Lulu, positive feedback from the fans was just like overwhelming to the point that like okay, real talk, I'm a crier. And anytime I feel anything way too strong, I cry. And so like seeing all of that like interaction and people being like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're voicing Lulu and stuff. I was like at my boyfriend's house just like and then like after that, like as far as like the most positive experience I've had with the show is just like finding out that I get to be a part of such a like rich, beautiful universe. Like whenever I booked that audition, I was just like, because whenever I booked that audition, I auditioned for it, and you know, any actor will tell you, send and forget. And so I sent it off, and then I got a text from Tara, and she was like, "Hey, can you do 30 minutes on episode 1 for Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Okay, it's probably Walla." And then I was like, then I got a text. She was like, "Okay, what about this time? 2 hours here, 4 hours here." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, did I
what?
did I book that audition?" Well, and then I looked at it and I was like, huh? It's always a like beautiful surprise when you book an audition. And that was such a beautiful moment for me, especially because like booking auditions is just such a form of validation for actors. And I know that y'all feel that too. It's just like, okay, it's almost like a reminder of like, yes, I am in the right place and I can do this. And that's always such a positive experience, especially when it's backed up by such a wonderful fandom.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think that for me, you know, whenever I got Take, like it was the same thing, you know, social media, people were just like, "Oh my gosh, like congratulations." And it felt really, really nice. Like, you know, just seeing all the positivity and all just the comments of people being like, "Hey, you know, like this is one of my favorite shows," or "This is my favorite show." And like, you know, me seeing it and you know, seeing the comments and, you know, just kind of, like I said, I beforehand, like I didn't even really know much about the show, but then, you know, I kind of started doing like a little bit of information. You know, I started Googling stuff and just being like, "Hey, what's this? You know, what is this? What is this about?" And just seeing like all the love and stuff that the show had, just from, you know, the fans and everything. I was like, man, this is pretty nice. Like, okay, all right, right on. Thank you.
Also,
and it was
Cream Cake Games.
Yeah. And it was funny too, because like for me, you know, like this doesn't happen too often, but I didn't even know that the character of Take existed. You know, I got an email from Tara just saying, "Hey, can you come in and record for Miss Kobayashi? You're going to be playing Takato." So I was like, okay. Went in and just fell in love with the character, and I was like, "Yo, this character is so great.
He's so tender. I
so
love
goofy.
him. And he's so sweet. You know, he means the
Yeah.
best all the time. And
Yes.
even though he's like a younger boy and he's like still trying to figure out, you know, how girls work and all that. Like he's so pure. So pure, and I love him. And I love the tone in your voice whenever Elulu comes out and she's like, "Hey Taketo, I can't get the top button to fit." And like before Take turns around, he goes, he's like, "Just Take's fine." Like he's so annoyed by it, and it's like so wonderful. And I just love that reading. I'm like, oh, it's so natural. It's so good.
One of my favorites, I think, was when he's just like, she's like changing, and he's just like, man, is she someone from like a different kind of culture? Oh, I want to go there.
I want to go there. Yeah, that line. I want to go there.
It's just like pure 16-year-old energy right
That
there.
was funny. Yeah,
Oh
I thought
yeah,
that was great.
you know, like I'm so confused, but also more.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay, fandom, where's the props? I mean, come on. You know it was a positive experience. I mean, send me the props here, and I'll tell you how great it is to be in the fandom. What's going on here? You think this anime just falls out of the stork's ass? No, we're in
Show
the
Marcus
studio,
the love.
sizzling it up hot.
Yes,
sizzling it.
please show the love.
I'm just kidding, everyone. You guys are wonderful. I love it. Love seeing all the clips. Love seeing the posts. Anyone who's been moved by the work of anyone in this show or feels like they've enjoyed escaping into this deep world with us, what a pleasure. That's what it's all about. That's what we strive to do with each show. Not only the show that you enjoy right now, but maybe in years when you recommend an anime, you say, oh, you got to see Dragon Maid. I think the most positive experience for me was I was working on The Detective's Already Dead, One Piece, The World Ends With You, and Dragon Maid. The World Ends With You, I had known a lot about. I worked with Jordan on Wall on that, one of my first things. And
Good stuff.
it was a big Kingdom Hearts anime, but then they're like, "Oh, you gotta do Dragon Maid as well." It's like, "Oh, this is not gonna be anything I'm interested in." Okay, because like I'm watching the first like 5 minutes, they're all like setting down the tea. Oh, all this stuff. I was like, "Oh, Lord, help me, paying for my sins." And then, I was like, this shit is fucking good. I started telling people, I'm like, holy shit.
I
start
remember
battling.
I remember in a session, Marcus just goes, I fucking love this show.
Yes, yes.
I was crying. There's several times I cried working on this show.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
And that battle you guys talking about the desert, like it was so crisp, like Naruto, badass. They fight in human form, super badass, and then they turn into the dragons, but then they cut into the past and like all of this stuff. I was like,
and you're just like with popcorn, just like more.
I did not see this coming at all. And then also the like side stories they're touching on, I was like, why isn't the anime about this? All of like heaven, the factions, the dragons, the fate of the universe, you know. Will she go back there? It's only shows its head every so often. It's underneath everything when they get a visitor or something like that. But I was like, there's so much rich lore that hasn't been explored, but there's great satirical commentary about all fandoms and, you know, that culture, and delicious food, great music, great characters. Like working on it was just so fun and peaceful experience for me. I enjoyed it immensely. It was one of the highlights of my year.
Same.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, Evan, would you like to read the next question?
Yeah, sure. If I can breathe. Good Lord, I can breathe. How did you come? How did you come up with the voice of your character?
Well, for me, I remember auditioning for Saikawa, and I auditioned with Kyle for it, and he was like, "Yeah, this character, she's just like a brat, you know, and she's just kind of awful." And I'm like, I can do that.
And do you ever? It's awesome.
I was just like, what was the worst version of me at that age? And like
Oh
amped
my
it
God.
up.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I guess for me, it would be so it's sort of a long story, but I used to have this, I still do, I say used to, I just don't talk to her very much anymore because we're both busy. No, a friend named Katie who had a really naturally high pitched, just the sweetest, cutest sounding voice. And she had a little chihuahua, and she would talk to this chihuahua in an even more pitched up version of her voice. And so she'd walk by her cute little chihuahua and she'd be like, "Oh, puppy." And I'm just like, that is the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life. And so
Stealing it.
whenever I got an animal, it just like, I got a cat and it like instantly, like, I got a cat before I was a voice actor. And I would just come home and I'd be like, "Little daddy Prince is my sweet baby girl." And then like I would just start talking to her in that voice, and oh my God, my cat loves it. She's like wanting nose kisses and stuff, and I'm just like, "Oh, I love you, baby." But then like obviously Ilulu has a little bit of texture to her voice, which fortunately I do, and I blame that because I grew up in a house where my parents smoked inside the house for 18 years. And so I have like a secondhand smoker voice. I often wonder what my voice would sound like had my parents been non-smokers, but whatever. I'm making it work. I'm doing my best.
Mysteries.
So, but I remember we were recording for Yuri on Ice, and it was one of my first roles that I got to do. I was one of the triplets in Yuri on Ice, and I did that high pitched voice, but they're kind of bratty and they have the big chubby cheeks and everything. And I did that voice, and Sunny was like, "I like that read. This is weird, I know, but can you make her sound fatter?" And I was like, "That is the weird." And it was like my like third session at Funimation where I had just discovered this high range, and now he's like, "Can you make her sound fatter?" And I'm like, "Add texture." And so like it ended up, there was actually a line where my character in that show had to say lose weight, and that was an opportunity to get to use that texture to my voice because like they're cheering him on because he's gained a little bit of weight and he's trying to get back into ice skating. And so like the other two, I think it was Laura Woodhull and Kristen McGuire were the other two. And they have, you know, sweet voices. And so it's like, "You can do it. I believe in you." And then my character is like, "Lose weight." And I'm like, I love that so much. But I got to be the little dickhead kid, like, and like have that gruffness, that chubbiness to my voice. And so that's kind of how I discovered it, was mimicking my friend Katie mixed with Sunny just being like, "Hey, can you do this?" And I'm like, "Sure."
Maybe.
My first session, "Sure, I can do that, I think." And I ended up being able to do it, fortunately. And so that's how I ended up finding you know, a voice for the character. And whenever they described Ilulu, I was like, "Oh, she's just pure chaos." And so I get to use all of that grim.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, like it was like Take is pretty much just kind of my normal voice.
Yeah, I hear Take
he's-
coming out of you right now. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it
he's
sounds like
I did too, actually.
It's
Yeah.
because he's like the normal character, like compared to
Yeah.
all the dragons and all this other stuff. Like he's just like
Yeah.
he's literally a high school kid that's just like, "Hey, yeah, my grandma owns a candy shop, and I gotta go work there after school because you know she's family." So yeah, like it was which it's interesting because you know as crazy as it sounds, like I normally get like I'm normally doing like something outside of my normal voice. So like you know Ruben and Black Clover, you know he's like down here, and you know just all this other stuff. It's like always like super crazy or super wacky or something. So getting a chance to do my normal voice, I was like, "Ooh, okay, like this is gonna be exciting." So getting like just kind of pulling from that, and like I said, him just being literally a normal kid, I'm like, "Hey, let me just kind of act how I would probably act when I was in high school." You know, it's like, "Hey, okay, cool, you seem like a fun girl, like make sure that you take care of my grandma's shop." And then it's like, and then obviously chaos ensues, and it's like,
Right.
we get to
But
see a
then,
different
he
side of
won
him.
over Aunt Sweet.
Yeah, where he's not calm, and where he's like actually,
freaking out.
freaking out and hormone crazy, and he's just like, what do I do? I'm 16. I want more of this, but at the same time, it's improper,
I love the line, "That fight's a man size."
It's like, oh, that's an adult size. Crazy.
Yeah, no wonder it's a man size.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's why the shirt's adult size.
Yes, well, finding your voice in any character you want to draw from within yourself and your technique, and always follow like some of the classic advice, like think of a character from Yu-Gi-Oh! And then copy the shit out of it.
I copy my information.
Kunai Chain, you welcome to the Shadow Realm.
Sounds like a New York accent to everything.
Oh my God, I love it.
Sometimes
So
I'm
good.
Mokuba, sometimes I'm Weevil. You got my trap card. You get. No, I'm saying. You always want to follow. I need to see the drawing. When I see the drawing, even when I have ideas, and no character is already set in stone. So it's like, oh, how'd you come up with this character? It's like, let's say I have Jordan for a character. I have an idea, but it's really this range of ideas. It's not one specific thing you have to arrive to. It's a collaboration of, here's a few adjectives, look at the drawing, what you bring as an actor. This triangulation, you're trying to find the sweet spot that gives you great representation of all sides. The original dub, you know what I mean? And you have to be flexible, because sometimes when you do an episode and you only have 1 week's script or the story of 1 week available, it may change drastically throughout the arc, where you want to add layers, you want to develop, you want to make the characters not one-dimensional. So you want to set it in the right spot, and then you want to grow and see what other things you can bring to it, and also see what an actor can bring to it and put them in a good place to succeed, giving them the advice, and also adjusting reads, or anything like that, to get it to where when you're watching it, you're like, oh, this is anime right here.
That's anime, baby.
Kunai Chain, you.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things I actually thought of, like, about like comparing on how you guys get the voices, how you guys prepare to try to get the voices attempted for the roles in dubs. I always wondered, like, did you guys like check try to compare the voice tones from the original? Do you guys check the research on how the characters act, like in the manga and everything? I always wondered about that myself, to be honest.
I think
I'm
it's a
kind
matter
of
of
awful,
preference,
and I don't.
No, I don't think that's an awful thing, because I think it's a matter of preference, because I don't want to go into a show with any kind of preconceived notions. Like, I want to watch just enough to get a feel for the character, but I don't want to go in thinking, okay, I need to exactly mimic this, because ultimately any good performance brings a little bit of you with it too. And I'm not trying to emulate anybody else. I'm bringing what I can to this performance. And so getting a feel for the characters, good to do. But for me personally, I tend to not watch a lot of the show before anything I go in to record for anything, because I want to bring my take to it, not what I perceive somebody else's take that had gotten brought to it.
And also kind of like what Christy was talking about before, like sometimes we go in completely blind. Like, we know we're booked for a session with a director. Maybe we know the show, but we won't necessarily know, like, sometimes, like, oh, this is a character. Oh, this character's coming back. Like, especially with some of the simul dubs, even the directors won't know if that character is going to be in the show later or not. They're like, let's see what happens, let's do this. And then, like, you'll come back like 6 months later, like, hey, guess what? That kid, they're back.
That actually happened. I voiced like Girl 1A or whatever in Restaurant from Another World, and then they got the season 2, and she has a name and an entire episode.
Yeah.
And actually they
Oh,
brought
wow.
Kieran in to play my little brother in that, and it was so fun playing that because I was just like, I forgot I voiced this child because it was one of those like, hey, I need you for like 2 seconds, and it was one line, and it was like, hey, do you want my dessert? And she goes, yes, please. And then like
Yeah.
they come back in another episode, and her name's like Margaret, and she has a name, and she like has this whole thing where I'm like, this is so out of left field. I love it. I'm not complaining whatsoever, but it's so unique how that happens sometimes.
Yeah, my favorite is when the director then is like, "Do you need a reference?" And it's like, "It's been 6 weeks." Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%. I need a reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you need? And it was like it never fails because like if it is a situation like that, you had like 2 lines as them, and they're like, well, these are the 2 lines you recorded, so match that.
Right.
Or you had a reaction.
I remember when we started season 2 of Dragon Maid. I think it was Chris Wakehamp who was covering for Kyle during the session that I went in to like the first episode, and he was like, do y'all need a reference? But because like different things were happening, like they couldn't find the reference for her, so I was like, hang on a second. So I just like pulled up YouTube on my phone, and there was like a compilation of her screaming. I'm like, there she is. There
Love it.
Yeah. I guess for me, I'll answer real quick too. So kind of both with what Sarah and Christy said. I tend to not try and listen to too much. Like I'll get like bits and pieces of the Japanese if I know I'm doing the character. Because like they said, sometimes you kind of go in blind and you're just like, I don't know what character I'm doing. Oh, this is the character? Yeah, let me think of something in like 10 seconds. But yeah, like I try not to too much, just because sometimes I feel if you, at least for me personally, if you are looking at it, you kind of get stuck in your head with like certain reads, so you'll end up looking at this and just saying, oh, well, the only way to do this read is this way, when there's multiple ways that you could be doing the read, but because you consistently just kept watching it, you got a read stuck in your head. So I try to avoid that. And also, I think just sometimes in English, like English versus Japanese, like I think that there's some voices that work in English that sound just as good. Excuse me. Wow. Voice crack. That sound just as good. But may not necessarily sound exactly like the Japanese. In the Japanese, they might have a deeper voice, but in English, they might have a lighter voice because they're still teenagers, and it still works. So yeah, that's, I guess, for me, just kind of how I approach it. Try not to do too much homework, but I still do some of the homework.
All right.
Makes sense.
Ivan, you want to read the next one?
Sure. Oh wait, Xamber should read the next one. I already read already.
Okay. All right.
What other animated series would you like to see have a crossover with Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid?
I think My Hero and Miss Kobayashi would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be interesting.
I can see that actually.
I'm actually thinking about this question myself now.
I think maybe One Piece, because honestly, based on the art style, kind of remind me just a tad bit of One Piece in my opinion. Like when they become like dragons and ants, like they look kind of derpy with the eyes and everything. Like that kind of reminds me a little One Piece. So I can kind of see One Piece and Dragon Maid being like together in a way.
I could see that. Yeah, that makes sense. I think my answer would be.
Oh, I was gonna say something silly, so you go first.
Okay. No, my answer would be, and not just because I'm in it, but because the show makes me laugh so much. Combatants Will Be Dispatched.
That'd be fun.
Because well, like they're such scumbags, and I love the idea of like they're in this area that has no idea like what technology really is. And then you have these gigantic dragons who do know what technology is. And I would like to see how Agent 6 would handle that, especially since they're fucking dragons. Like, Agent 6 would just be having the worst time. And I want to see that.
Man. This is a good question. I think like it would be interesting. I like your idea of the Dragon Maid pirates. That might not be a bad idea. I think it'd be interesting to see him in a crossover of one of the like classic bubblegum Crisis, or even some of those kick-ass animes, Deus, EX, and you know what would be badass? Neon Genesis Evangelion with Dragon Maid pirate like
Or
pilots.
what about or like Dragon Maid and Sailor Moon?
Oh, that
Like
would be
that
cute.
show would just
Yeah.
barf.
I can see
glitter.
that.
It would be awesome.
I see.
I
can
was
see Kana,
just
like,
gonna say
I think-
Attack on Titan, so you could see a dragon attack a Titan.
Yes!
Oh, that'd be
Yes.
crazy.
But it's Attack on
Honestly, with
Titan,
the-
so they'd pepper in a Dragon Titan too, and then now you're screwed
Oh,
again.
of course, of
Ah,
course.
yeah.
They-
Attack on
Yes.
Titan is a mean anime. It's a mean to you anime.
So mean. Just
They would be good in Fairy Tale. Fairy Tale would
Yeah.
fit
Oh, for
all
sure,
of them
for sure.
fine.
They fit
You
right
know.
in too.
I should have thought about that one, yeah, because
Yeah.
with the transmutation circles and everything, I'm like, this could have been Fairy Tale, yeah.
So Elma would probably love Food Wars.
Oh,
because
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
they have like the same energy, same craziness.
Fighting food-ons.
Oh my gosh, that show's so
Fighting
old.
food-ons.
It's incredible. I remember that. I remember that show.
Yeah.
What about the Animaniacs?
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Oh, they get owned by the Warner brothers and sister. Like, because you can't beat the Animaniacs. They have already thought 10 steps ahead of everybody.
It'd be like Psychoa,
True.
That's
Psychoa,
true.
the therapist, just like, what is wrong with you?
Oh my god, yeah, Dr. Frankenfurter. Not Dr. Frankenfurter, but
Yes,
Dr.
Scratch and Sniff.
Scratch and Sniff.
But
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
memory.
You guys, Dragon Ball, man. Dragon
Yeah,
Ball.
there it is.
Dragon.
I can see it. I can see
Right
it.
in
Dragon.
front of
Yes.
us.
I can kind of see it,
Shit
yeah.
happening.
It was so
Shit.
easy.
Hey, dragons. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Let's see. Next question is, what's the most awkward line and favorite line to say as your character in the booth?
Mine are the same, which is go on, give in to your lustful urges. Go on, touch them. Like, I enjoyed every second of that. And God, this is no pun intended, even though it's going to sound the worst. I milked that scene for all it was worth because it was such a blast. And I apologize about the innuendo, but I just loved it because it was so awkward. But at the same time, I just got to be so evil and be like, come on, come on. And it was a blast. So I won't mention that word anymore in regard to that particular scene. It was real good.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the best.
I can't-
That's one of the best things I've ever heard. Go ahead, sorry.
Honestly, I can't remember what the line actually was, but because most of Psycho's lines are slightly awkward. We've already covered that. But
Slightly.
it was like, but like in season 2, when Kana and Psychoa and Ilulu are playing all the board games together, there was one where it was like,
Oh.
I think it was sort of like I basically told Kana to like king me, but it sounded dirty. I don't remember exactly what the
Oh, I
line was, but I
see.
was like,
think I
that's
remember that.
raunchy.
You're like,
think I
well,
do
this
too.
is something that refers to another thing that we don't talk about right now.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh man. For me,
I thought I was bad. I'm glad I made a milk joke.
oh man. For me, I maybe the most awkward was I think whenever he first met Kobayashi, and like he's just like, hey, like because I guess Alulu was like sniffing around or something. He's like, oh, like did you train her or something like a dog? I can't remember what he said
Trainer.
exactly.
Puppy play. He says, you
Puppy play, yeah.
Puppy play?
There it was that,
And then, of
and
course,
then
Toru's like, I'm the only one that's allowed to be trained.
yeah, I thought that was hilarious. And then for probably like the most fun or funniest for me was when Ilulu has like the little puppet in her like inner cleavage, and And Takato's like, she's like, yeah, do you want to touch it? And he's like, no, it's weird. And he's like, why is it in your shirt?
Aw.
And then
she's
he
like,
just like
'cause it's really hot in
continuously
there.
gets louder and louder. That was probably the most fun, just because it went from like here to like here, like super quick, and it's really funny.
Also, by the way, thank you for the comment that I just saw about the ball of tiny hands line. Thank you.
That was funny.
Yeah, that one.
That
Thank
line,
you
yeah.
so much, Cream Cake Games. That was my favorite to say.
Look at that puppy.
Give me some love. Yeah, give
Yeah,
the
that's
puppy
the
the
close up we
spotlight.
need.
This is my dog.
Mm.
Her name is Sunny Butter Lettuce.
Sunny butter
Butter lettuce.
I love her so much.
It's so cute.
Call her Sunny.
I can't deal with that right now. That's
Is
so
she wearing a
cute.
Packers
That
jersey?
face.
Yeah, we're from Wisconsin. We're Packers.
Oh my god.
Aaron Rodgers right here, man.
Hey.
I
love
took this
it.
off because it's got to go in the garbage after last night.
Oh man, dude, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
But Sunny is
you.
still supporting carrying the G.
Oh.
And when everyone was saying puppy play, I was like, oh, come here.
Come here, puppy.
Yeah.
The
I
real puppy
actually,
play.
we went to buy all this stupid dog crap for Christmas. And like, I told my mom, I was like, I actually know what she wants. And I was like, I got her an office chair that matches mine so she can sit up next to me when I work from home, because she's always climbing
That's
up
precious.
on. Oh, hello. Yes. Good
So
girl.
cute.
So
All right, down you
cute.
go.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you talking to me? No, I was
you
done.
can interrupt me with the dog anytime you like.
Yes.
Like it takes a lot to get me to shut the hell up, but a dog does it. Like I will happily be quiet for a dog. They're so cute.
Let me see. I guess Cream Cake actually wanted us to answer that question as well, of what was our favorite line from the actors in the show. I think it had to be which episode was it? I think it was in season 1 when I can't remember how to pronounce her name. Quotes the goddess dragon?
Lukoa.
Lukoa, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When she's trying to convince Shota to let her stay, like in the house, and she's offering him all these things like power and knowledge and all that, and he's turning them all down. For some reason in my head, I had a feeling I was gonna go down that route. She was gonna offer her body at first, but she doesn't immediately. So I was like, oh, okay, no, then we're fine. But then the last one, she's all my body, and I was like, okay. I literally started laughing
like,
so hard.
And then Tori was like, "You shot yourself with that one."
Yeah.
I guess one of the lines that truly made me laugh my butt off was when Kobayashi was bleeding, and then Toru just pretty much had a heart eye, and then she had that tongue like, "You can do that to lick it."
Oh my god! And it's so
Your
gross.
tongue is so long. You're like, that whole scene, I was like, I watched it over and over and over.
Extremely long.
Let me log.
Yeah.
That part just had me dead. I was like, I'm like, oh my god, stop.
It's so good.
That's my favorite part, yeah.
For me, I would have to say Sarah's performance as Toru. The line just hit really different for the English dub when she's talking about in season 2 about how they started sleeping now as dragons, and that's not really something that they did, kind of explaining the boredom that they felt. It was this very interesting line to kind of stop and think about how, you know, they're explaining sleeping, kind of her and Kobayashi, and how, like, you know, one day someone just kind of slept, and then it became this loneliness that they didn't want to be the only one up. It was this very beautiful, just kind of back and forth between them, but it was lovely, and it just was like, huh, yeah, I guess, like, this boredom sets in for them. So it gave us this really good depth about the dragons themselves.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Puppy. Yeah, they're
Dog-
all loving
Yeah,
their
yeah.
The dog is
Definitely
barking.
commenting.
Show
I
them
was gonna-
dog again.
I was gonna say.
All right, let me see.
Character would
Give me a
you?
second, everybody.
Yeah, next question. Which character would you like your character to interact with more?
I
I
would
want Lulu to
definitely
talk to
like to
Kana more.
see. Yeah, I would like to see more interaction between Rico and her sister Georgie. Like I'd like to see what that home dynamic is like a little bit more.
I would like all the characters to have 2 hours of dialogue with mail robber 11B.
That
would be perfect.
Yes.
Maybe even like an OVA. Dragon Maid OVA, the harsh hustling. New York City.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Have one where Saikawa comes to New York and be like, "Listen, mister,
Listen, mister, you work for me now.
I'm in charge here, not you."
Yeah, and then like, Kana and Saikawa hire the gang, take over.
We lost Chrissy. Hopefully she'll be back.
Oh no. We
Um,
lost Chris.
but for me, one, I would love to see Taketo chat more with what's his name, Takiya.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think
Oh,
that'd
yeah.
be a fun interaction.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But also, and I don't want it to sound too cliche or anything, but I would like to see
Disappearing. My
him.
phone messed up.
Oh, you're
It's okay.
good. I'd like to see him kind of just interact with just all of the dragons a little bit more often, because I would just love to see that point of view of, hey, this is just a normal dude, and now he's mixed up in this crazy like fantasy dragon world. How's he gonna react? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see more of that. So
Yeah.
yes, all the characters, but I also do think him and Takia would be really, really funny too.
I would like to see a Lulu and Kana just because they're so different.
Mhm.
Like Kana seems so grounded, and a Lulu is absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I would love to see more of that, please, because it's just like I feel like they would just be like oil and water, but somehow see eye to eye still.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would like that actually, yeah.
What is one characteristic you have in common with your character?
Chaotic and gross.
I'll
I
answer
mean,
this.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I don't know if y'all followed me like on 2020 during the pandemic, but obviously like Halloween wasn't happening or anything, and so I was going to be the Cheddar Goblin from the movie Mandy, and I was like sitting on the front porch of my boyfriend's house. That's right in front of an elementary school in the middle of October at 3 p.m. All the children are walking home, and there's this insane woman with goblin ears pouring macaroni and cheese directly down her shirt, taking pictures. So that's the
What?
energy I bring to the world.
Wow.
And that's a Lulu right there, is just like, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I don't care if it's chaotic, and I don't care if it's horrible, but I want to pour macaroni and cheese on myself in the middle of broad daylight in front of an elementary school, because that's just what happened. And I didn't take that into account,
disturbing.
but that's the pure chaos that I live my life by. So that's where I come in.
I was not expecting that.
Weird
That is
rabbit
what happened on
hole.
Twitter.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
These
I-
OnlyFans
I-
rabbit
the
holes.
production company, Mandy, actually like retweeted it or like put it on their Instagram story, and I was like, oh yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
me looking gross.
Oh man. I'll answer this real quick, and then I do have to bounce.
I'm
I
also
would
actually have to about to bounce too, so yeah, just letting you know. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I would say that one of the characteristics that we share is sometimes I can go from like 0 to 100 just randomly. If I'm like hyped up, or if I've got just a lot of energy, my girlfriend will tell you, like, one moment I'll just be like chilling or whatever, and then I'll just like start just like going crazy and like, you know, yelling and like
You get
like
the
not
human
like
version of the Zoomies.
essentially, yes. Like I'll just start like getting loud and like telling jokes and just like being like ridiculous. And it just comes out of nowhere. And I would say like in a way, like that's kind of how Take is. Maybe it's, you know, brought on by another person for him. But I do love just how it's like, yeah, you know, he's chill. And then all of a sudden it's like Elulu just brings him to that, you know, 100 miles an hour where he's like, you know. So I would say that we probably shared that, where it's like we can be calm, but then we can also be like really crazy and really hyped up. And I love him. I love him. He's a great character.
For me, I would think the ways I most like Saikawa without me actually being insane. You know, she loves hard, and she's oddly sentimental, and people don't like. I love that the show shows that side of her and how sweet and like devoted she is to people, and I like to think that I emulate that. But at the same time, like, little girl gonna be combative. Like, if you cross me,
Yay. Well, and I think that's a really great way of putting her, is that she loves hard, and that's like what makes it so genuine and sweet.
Yeah. Like she like, even like when she first like interacts with Elulu, she's just like, I like you, you know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very, like, it's hard, it's intense.
Well, I imagine
but
with
she means
her
it.
too, I mean, it probably is hard for her to make friends because she's so over the top, and so like finding people that will like stay with her and stuff, I'm sure that is even more like meaningful to her.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can put up with her, she's gonna stick with you to the end.
Yeah,
you know?
she's ride or die, totally.
I was gonna say, if you guys want, we have one more question for you guys. I don't know if you guys want to still stick around for that, or you guys.
Yeah. I mean, if it's just one more question, yeah.
Yeah.
One more question. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. What's the most memorable Mrs. Kobayashi Dragon Maid fan interaction you've had?
I know for me, and I think most of us are probably Kyle on one of the fans on Twitter, when he did his season 2 wrap up, and he took the time to go through with like each character and like a little paragraph for everyone and how much the show has meant to him.
So sweet.
And it was the sweetest, kindest, most just like best
From the
feedback
heart.
that we've all probably have gotten on the show. And it was just, and like, I know for some of us, like with everything with 2020, 2021, blah, blah, I was like, I needed that day that he posted it.
Yeah.
It
And
was
that's
so
another
great.
thing, is that like, I feel like with voice actors, you know, often, as you know, we get held on high very often. But the thing is the fans are just important to us as, you know, because like that sort of thing, that sort of like loving engagement and that sort of true passion that fans show is like, that feeds my soul. And like, that is such a beautiful thing. And it's like, the fact that they took the time to share that with you and to share that with the whole cast and crew is so meaningful, because like, Kyle didn't have to do that. None of the fans had to congratulate anybody at all, but they're all so supportive. And I'm just like mind blown by it, because it's just such a beautiful thing to see. And I think the most memorable interaction that I've ever had, though, is one that I've been asked a lot, actually, by a bunch of different people, which is, how do you feel about your character's design? And I'm like, it's anime. Giant tits, it's anime. I mean, what do you expect? I feel neutral toward my character's design because I was in Keijo and I played a girl who had berries in her butt. So like, it's anime.
Wow.
I am completely neutral on Elulu's chest. As far as design overall, she's the cutest freaking thing on the planet. But as far as the chest goes, I'm totally fine with it, and I have nothing against like her being drawn with large breasts.
Man, for me, I kind of have to agree with like both of you guys with Kyle. Just like the fact that he's been so supportive. I know whenever I was able to announce that I, you know, had gotten Takuto, he was like one of the first that was just like, oh my gosh, Jordan. He posted like clips and he was like, hey, just want to say congratulations. It's like one of my favorite shows, like if not my favorite show. Welcome to the Dragon Maid family and stuff. And I was just like, dude, you're so nice. Like, thank you so much. And then like the after the season 2 review, I was just like, man, this guy is so supportive towards everybody. It's like, it's so wonderful.
No,
so to me, that's definitely probably the most memorable.
Well, I'd say being here with y'all.
Oh,
no, you.
No, not you three, them three. Ultimately, it's been a great ride. Everyone who supports the anime, we love all the fans. The most support is not like, oh, I wrote you a letter about how good you are, Jordan. Oh, wow, what a pleasure to have you again. The pleasure is this shit's over like 8 weeks, 12 weeks ago, who knows? But then you're on Twitter and some guy posts on Twitter is like, just got through Dragon Maid season 2, episode 6. Going to be on episode 7 a week or 2 from now.
Yeah,
you're like, God
giving.
bless this poor man's heart. Through Dragon Maid long after
the delay.
I just am like, I like that tweet, retweet, keep going on the Dragon Maid journey, brother. We love you. But it doesn't have to be a big gesture. Even anyone saying they like it, I'm like, oh, that means a lot. And means a lot, obviously, to work with all these actors. They know it. Sarah and I got to work together twice on Friday. She did some Walla for me, and I did some Walla for her.
Nice.
And,
nice.
Jordan, I love you. I always love you.
It's great, bro.
Great time working together. And just, I miss being with them. And I think it's telling when they're like, what's your biggest fan reaction? The biggest fans are the people we work with who support us and love us and like being together. Because even though it's so nice if someone says, oh, I like Dragon Maid, but sometimes when an actor you respect is like, I really enjoyed working with you on Dragon Maid, you're like, oh, that means a lot because, ultimately.
It carries weight. Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it's so nice every time to hear from anyone who's liked it. And it's really nice to be with the fans. I'm on a motion swivel board. It's a balancing board.
I was going to say, what's going on there?
I know, it's good.
Yeah, I'm just like snaking around.
I'm on my standing desk here.
Yeah, again, it was great having you guys in here. I absolutely love it. And, oh my God, what are you?
His people need him.
Wait, whoa, what the hell?
See, this is my desk is robotic lift, baby.
That's right.
Oh, nice. I love it. Oh, there's fancy. I love this. That rule.
Nope, actually.
You can see it like lock into place.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh man. Again, thank you guys so much for joining and coming in for this panel. It was great. It was like just good laughs. I'm talking to you guys about the show. Absolutely love the show. It was really good. Like,
yeah, Sam.
Again,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us on. Yeah, this was great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you reached out to me.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jedi Dick Sensei, thank you for those kind words.
But seriously, guys, you all did. Like, I have to say, when I first saw the show, I was like a bit like kind of weird by it. But as soon as I watched it, like, I honestly say I really love this show. I think all you guys did a fantastic job, and I greatly appreciate you guys for what you did. I just really mean that. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Obviously, thank you so much for obviously taking the time
Thanks
to do this
for
with
having
us.
us.
We're beyond
Absolutely.
grateful. No problem.
Well, we are too. This is so like meaningful having us on like this. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
I mean that really.
No, thank you so much, really.
All right.
Well, Jordan, I love you. Let's make crab rangoon soup.
I'm down. Hit me up, bro.
All right, I will.
Cool. All righty, guys. I'll catch you later.
All right.
All right,
Thank
bye,
you.
Jordan.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you guys.
I'm also about to hop off, so
I'll
I
hop
will
off as
talk to
well.
you
Yeah,
guys
no worries.
later.
Problem.
But thank you
We'll go ahead and
again
wrap this up. Yeah.
so much for having me on. This has been wonderful, and thank you for being patient with me while I got on my audio issue fixed out before
it's
the
okay.
stream
No,
went
you're
on.
fine.
And also thank you for being patient with me while I just talk constantly. It's a I mean, I have no joke. My
Fantastic.
tattoo
You were
says never
fantastic.
shut up on it because that's exactly what
Beautiful.
happens.
Yes.
Like I literally have a tattoo that says never shut up because that is like my MO, like my life's MO. Because on top of doing voice acting, I'm a radio jock and an adjunct professor. And so I talk constantly. And radio jocks, oh God, you have to pay us to shut up. You don't pay us to talk. You pay us to be quiet. And so like it's just a habit of mine that I've just learned to be like constantly like on top of it. So like that's why I'm glad when people aren't afraid to like talk over me, because if they don't, I won't shut up. And so thank you all so much as I talk and reading your
No problem.
questions for you and crap, because I'm just like, what's that?
Yes, yes.
I loved every
So
single
thank
second
you.
of
That was
I loved every
great.
single second of it. I really did. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it was wonderful talking to you all. And again, thank you for reaching out to me. And I wish you all a good Sunday.
Yes,
Yeah.
same to
Thank
you.
Bye,
Get your
everybody.
coffee.
Kristen,
Bye.
great work.
so
I
much,
will.
All right,
Kira.
everybody. I hope
really
you all
love
enjoyed. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Really help us out. Don't forget to go check out Zamber over at her channel as well. Our amazing co-host here. Like it was amazing. It's very rare for us to have co-hosts here, but it's also so much more fun to have a co-host here with us. And
Absolutely.
again, to our wonderful guests, every single one of them that were able to make it here today. Love you all. Feel free to go follow them all on their social medias. Go support them. Go watch Dragon Maid. It was absolutely amazing. Great show. Absolutely loved it. And I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday.
Mhm.